Hello, friends. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all of you. I am Mahendra sir, your English teacher, going to teach you class 7 NCRT English, chapter number first, three questions, second part. Okay, so you already know that in the part first that you have listened that how the bearded man came to the hermit hut and near the king. So let's begin part second of the three questions. The king saw a bearded man running towards them. His hands were pressed against his stomach, from which blood was oozing. Oozing means continuously it was bloody. As he reached the king, he fainted and fell to the ground. He had a large wound in his stomach, so nobody knew that who gave wound to the bearded man. The king washed the wound and compressed it with his handkerchief. At last, bleeding stopped. The man felt better and asked for fresh water to drink. The king gave him fresh water. Till the time is going on and the time of evening is now. The sun is set. The king and the hermit carried the wounded man into the hut and laid him on the bed. The king also felt asleep. When he awoke, the bearded man asked for forgiveness to the king. Please, sorry me. The man was in fact the king's enemy. He had followed the king to take revenge on him. He had owed to kill him. Owed means to take a swear that I will kill the king. The king had once put his brothers to death. The man, the king, did not return from long. So he came out of his hiding place, that where he was hiding himself. When the king did not return from long, he got wounded by the king's bodyguard. He would have died if the king had not dressed his wound. See, the bearded man, how his life was saved here. He felt grateful, very thankful to the king who had saved his life. He promised to serve the king as a faithful servant, loyal servant in his whole life. So the king was happy that he had made a peace with his enemy. He forgave the man and promised to give his property back to him. Because as a man said, that bearded man, that you have sealed my brother's property and you gave sentence, you gave verdict that he will be hanged till death. The king then went to the hermit. He again asked for answers to his three questions. Because you already know in the three questions, what are the three questions here in this story? What is right time to begin something? which people he should listen to, and what is the most important thing for him to do. Once again, the king asked three questions to the hermit. So here, the hermit explained that by digging the beds for him, the king had escaped from attack of that bearded man. So, the most important time was when he was digging the beds. I hope that everyone has understood my answer. The most important time was that when the king was digging the beds. And the hermit himself was the most important person. That is the second one answer. Which people should he listen to? The hermit was himself was the most important person for the king. So he listened the hermit. So to do good, him was the king's most important business. See, when the bearded man came there, he fell down, and the king and the hermit both helped to the bearded man. They dressed first of all his wounds. They redressed to stop bleeding or oozing. So that was most important business for the king at the time, and so it was an answer of his third question. That is, what is the most important thing for him to do? Okay. The hermit further told the king that the most important person to him was the person with him at that particular moment that bearded man was there. The most important business was to help that person, that bearded man. And the most important time was now. Or you can say, the most important time is now. That is the present moment. In this particular story, Leo Tolstoy has written this story to consider the student in front of him and what kind of questions can become in future and how we can tackle them, how we can solve them with the help of these three questions. So I hope that everyone has understood this part second.